Vancouver has now been ranked an impossibly unaffordable city to live in. A recent report has ranked Vancouver as the third most expensive city in the entire world to live within. So if you're thinking about moving to Vancouver or you already live here, it's crucial that you understand why thousands upon thousands of people are fleeing this city. You see, Vancouver isn't just expensive, it's increasingly unlivable for the average person. And if you don't fully understand the current living challenges of living in Vancouver, you could find yourself in a very difficult financial situation. After all, who wants to work hard every day and still not be able to afford the basics, let alone a decent home? And if you think this is all just media hype, I want you to think again, because I've dug up some hard data and alarming trends revealing just why so many people are leaving Vancouver. We're also going to take a look at where they are all going, and most importantly, the question is, should you follow? Now, by the end of this video, you're going to have a clear picture of what's really happening here, and more importantly, you're going to discover some fabulous, much more affordable real estate markets just outside Vancouver that might just be the perfect place for you to call home. But before we get started, if you're new to this channel, my name is Glen Hopkins and I create videos all about Canadian real estate and my local market of Surrey and White Rock, BC. So if that's something you're interested in, please go ahead, subscribe to the channel now, and that way you won't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. Also, if you'd like my help with either buying or selling a home here in the Surrey or White Rock or the surrounding area, there is a link in the description box below where you can schedule a call with me. And if you're anywhere else in Canada and you need a referral to a fantastic agent, don't worry, I've got you covered. I know amazing agents throughout the country and I will gladly connect you with them. All right, so let's get into it. Now, the cost of living in Vancouver, it's no joke. Vancouver has consistently ranked among the top 3 most unaffordable cities in the world for 16 years. To afford a median priced home in Vancouver, you need an income of over $200,000. And that's just the beginning. The average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment is around $2,600 a month. And let's not forget that the everyday expenses, things like groceries, fuel, and even alcohol, which are higher here compared to most other provinces. And it's no wonder people are getting fed up. Imagine, trying to save for a down payment when you're spending most of your income just trying to keep a roof over your head and food on your table. And with inflation pushing prices even higher, it's a struggle for many that many just can't handle anymore. So let's take a look at what all these costs are doing to the population. Now, despite the high cost of living, BC has always had a net positive migration rate. More people have been moving to BC than actually leaving. However, since late 2022, we've seen a shift. British Columbia has experienced a net migration loss of over 12,000 people. Now, digging a bit deeper, the data shows that most of these people are moving to Alberta. They're seeking refuge in a place where homes are still reasonably affordable. In fact, so far this year, the moving company Two Small Men with Big Hearts, they say that 1.8 million British Columbians have used the company's service to move to Alberta for every one Albertan who moves to BC. But I think that while we're seeing an exodus right now, it might be more of a temporary fluctuation rather than a long-term trend. And I'm going to touch on that in just a minute. But first, speaking of trends, let's talk about the housing market. Everyone knows that Vancouver's real estate is very expensive. The composite benchmark price for a home in Vancouver is just over $1 million. And when you compare that to Calgary, the composite benchmark price for a home there is around $587,000. And so it's no surprise that people are packing up and they're heading east. Even areas throughout the Fraser Valley and Kelowna, which used to be more affordable, have seen their housing affordability worsen by about 2.5 times the median household income from 2015 to 2023. And so for many people, the dream of owning a home in Vancouver is becoming just that. Nothing but a dream, because the high cost of living inevitably is pushing people to consider other alternatives. Now, by the way, if you're getting any value from this video, please do me a quick favor. Go ahead, hit that like button. It just takes a second, but it does help me get the word out to other people just like you looking for this kind of information. So if you do me that favor, go ahead, hit that like button. All right, so at this point, you might be thinking it's all about the money, but you also might be thinking, what about your quality of life? And sure, the city is beautiful, but is the mild weather and the natural beauty worth all that financial stress? Young people in particular are feeling the pinch. A study by Angus Reid Institute, they found that 50% of 18 to 34-year-olds and more than 2 in 5 35 to 54-year-olds say they are seriously thinking of leaving the province because of the cost of housing. So it would seem that Vancouver's natural beauty and weather, it isn't quite enough to keep people here when they can afford to live comfortably elsewhere. I mean, ultimately, the cost of housing, everyday expenses, and even taxes are driving people away. Now, in just a second, I'm going to reveal what might just be your answer to lower housing costs other than actually leaving the province. But first, it seems that another major factor driving people away from Vancouver is the pursuit of better economic opportunities. Alberta, for instance, has actively been courting BC residents with its recent Alberta is Calling campaign, highlighting the lower cost of living, higher wages, and zero provincial sales tax. And this campaign, it has worked very well. Alberta has gained 55,107 new residents in 2023, all of whom came from BC. Now, of course, for many, the move isn't just about cheaper housing. It's also about a better financial future. Lower taxes, higher disposable income, and more affordable living costs makes places like Alberta very, very attractive to a lot of people. And let's be real, the prospect of comfortable lifestyle without the constant financial strain is a huge lure. But other than Alberta, where else can people live more affordably? Well, here's some good news. While Vancouver might be impossibly expensive, many of the surrounding cities in the Lower Mainland, such as Surrey, White Rock, Langley, Abbotsford, and Chilliwack, offer more affordable alternatives without sacrificing too much in terms of lifestyle. Yes, these areas are still pricey compared to other parts of Canada. However, they are a deal compared to Vancouver proper. Surrey, for example, has a growing community with more affordable housing options and amenities, while White Rock, it offers stunning waterfront views and a more relaxed pace of life. And Langley, well, hey, it provides a mix of urban and rural living with plenty of space and lower housing costs. And each of these cities is only 45 minutes to an hour away from Vancouver, which means if you work in Vancouver or you just like to visit the city and all of its amazing events and activities, the commute may well be worth the savings in your cost of living. So what does the future hold for Vancouver's housing market? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Is it possible that, losing these residents to Alberta and elsewhere might eventually lead to more affordable housing in Vancouver and potentially more stabilized prices? I don't know. I mean, I think as long as there's a high demand that's being brought on by the massive immigration and our already limited housing supply, prices will unfortunately probably remain high. And let's face it, a lot of us don't want to leave this area, nor do we want to leave our families, our friends, and our jobs. And so for those of you who are looking to stay in BC, but you can't afford to live in Vancouver, the surrounding cities are becoming increasingly attractive. More people are moving to the Fraser Valley, finding that commute isn't too bad if you only need to go into the city a few times a week. So if you're considering moving to Vancouver or you're already here in the area and you're feeling the strain, perhaps it's time to explore the surrounding areas. Surrey, White Rock, Langley, Abbotsford, and the other cities are not too far outside of Vancouver, and they offer a great balance of affordability community and lifestyle. These areas provide more bang for your buck without compromising too much of the perks of living in Vancouver. So, if you'd like some help with finding a location that best suits your needs, go ahead, use the link in the description box below to contact me, and we can have a chat about your options and we can explore some of these areas together. And again, be sure to leave a comment below, share your thoughts, share your experiences, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm always happy to help. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.